Good afternoon and welcome to The Joy is in the Journey. My name is Gina and I am a licensed practitioner at Concordia Centers for Spiritual Living in beautiful Rhode Island. We are experiencing a beautiful spring day today. So happy to be walking into springtime, rebirth, and just life itself. So happy. So today we are here at The Joy is in the Journey. And the purpose of this show is to be in a place of experiencing the joy that is meant for us. And sometimes that's easy. When things are going well, that's great. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a little tougher to get to that point of that being the experience. So this show helps people get to that place of finding something new, finding something more, finding something that might brighten or enhance life just a little bit. All kinds of interesting ways to bring joy into life in more dynamic ways. So today's guest, I'm very happy to introduce, is someone that I consider a friend, and it's a blessing to me. She is a gift to our center at Concordia Centers for Spiritual Living. She has been with us for over a decade, but she has been the person that does all our administrative everything, God bless her. She definitely has done so much for so many. And she also has her own practice. In addition to helping us in all ways, she is an amazing woman that is coming to her licensing in practitioner studies, which excites me because she is definitely to that place of, and I look forward to seeing that stole around her neck. But in addition to that, our guest, Mary Broomall, is someone that considers herself a seeker, she said. She said she's always wondered how the universe works and has looked for those scientific answers and ways, and it's led her to, she in 1987 got licensed as a massage therapist. But in addition to that, she has been searching that mind-body-soul connection for decades. She has spent her life just looking for answers. And she has been just a gift in so many ways. So I am so happy to share her light with us today. Hello, Mary, and welcome. Welcome to The Joy is in the Journey.
Hi, Gina, and thank you for the opportunity to be here and spread some joy. Spread some joy. I appreciate that.
You are a gift in so many ways, and your energy is just light and vibrant. And, I know I've always thought you as an energy worker in so many ways. And you, one of the things that we're going to be talking about today that it really excites me is essential oils, which I know some about, and I understand the reasoning and all of that behind, but Bach flowers, and as far as the remedies that go with that, excite me. Like, I want to hear more about it. We live in a spiritual universe having a physical experience, and the more we go into our teachings, the more we know that. And there's ways that we can become that connected spirit, which is where the joy is. I always say to people, you say, well, just go have fun, or you say go within. Everything you need is within you. But if you're not experiencing that, if you knew how, you'd be there. There's so many times in life that something can help us find that connection to that peace, to that calm, to whatever it is that we are seeking. So I am happy that you are here to show us that, because there's so many practical ways that these things can help us with that. So please, how did you get started with that?
Well, if we're going to talk, let's talk about the essential oils and about the Bach remedies.
Absolutely.
In particular, and really it all started with my going to school for therapeutic massage. because that was my first real introduction to the idea of the body, mind, spirit connection. You know, to say the words is one thing, but to grok it, as the word used to be, to get it, what that really is, and to experience it is a different animal. And of course, because everything is consciousness, everything is about our awareness, the deeper you are considering something, thinking about something, experiencing it, then the more it unfolds. It's that onion that we talk about so often. It's the layers of the onion. And so my understanding of a particular oil might be something today, and it might be different next week, depending on my understanding, my depth of consciousness around it. And really, awareness is probably the key to everything. Isn't it really the awareness? I mean, if you can go to any modality, you can go to a physical therapist, you can go to a doctor, you can go wherever you want, but and decide whether something works or doesn't work for you. But really, it's based on your consciousness and your awareness of it, and being aware of what you are aware of, being aware of what has your attention. And as Mary Morrissey says in Prosperity Plus, you know, making it welcome. So how you feel about a modality, let's say, for instance, Bach flowers, the Bach remedies. You may go to a flower practitioner and say, this is what I want. This is how I want my life to look. This is how I don't want to feel anymore. I don't want this showing up in my life anymore. And that's great. But have you made the space for the new you to be welcomed? Have you created a place within yourself where you truly are open? And how do you know if you're open? You know by the results you're getting. You know by the experience that's coming into your life. Whether you are offering a vibration out into the world of what you truly want or of the lack of it.
Well, that's the law of attraction in a nutshell. Anything that we're focused on, we're going to get more of. So it's being in that place of allowing and spending time in that knowingness rather than, you know, it's just being in that place and centered in the choice intentionally instead of just what I don't want.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes the what I don't want is so loud that we are kidding ourselves and thinking we're actually open to something new. But if we keep saying the same things over and over, thinking the same thoughts over and over, we're not making that space. In fact, I had a little quote here, if that's okay.
Absolutely. From
Abraham Hicks, which is work I've been involved with for about 25 years, and I adore that work. But as they say, it should only be talked about if the talking will make you feel better. It is of no value ever to activate and talk about something that doesn't feel good because it reactivates it in your vibration. It makes it another point of attraction. So you are less clear. You think you're clarifying it by explaining it to someone, and really that's not the way the universe works, right? That's
digging in deeper. I look at that like a car that's stuck in the mud, revving its tires. And when I tell you more and more and more and more about it, I'm revving those tires so that I'm deeper, deeper, deeper. But you don't understand, but you don't get it. And that's part of the practitioner work, is that people will come to us because I'm not invested in anybody's story. You know, I can know what's true about you because I have no investment in the otherwise. I can see the truth of you. I can experience that truth, and I can clear the path in that one mind. It's up to the individual to accept it. So I know, when I have people that are working with me and I go to a practitioner, because even practitioners need a practitioner, although we are our greatest practitioner, we should be for ourselves. But at the same time, when I am in a point of feeling stuck, then the answer isn't to keep doing it again and again. It's doing something different. So we always have that option of it's almost like finding another route. Water always finds its way. And that's what we can do in consciousness. We can always find our way. And the gift in that too, I think, is when you look at all of the different ways, certain things speak to you more than others. There's different modalities. Energy work it's all energy work. That's the irony of it, which is why I love this background. It's all energy. Everything in life is, whether we're acknowledging it or not. We're physical because it's the vibration that we're at, as opposed to, but we know everything is energy. So like you said, when we're at a place of what I don't want, it's easy to get stuck there. And when we're in joy, everything else is easy. It's like being in the flow. When we're in the flow, everything is easy because we're not our own resistance.
Mm-hmm. And the flow kind of being that a river, right? Mm-hmm. You're in the flow of the river. And when you have thoughts which aren't adding to the goodness of what you want, you're actually fighting the current. You're fighting the current.
And downstream thought. I love that about their teachings. Am I going downstream? When it feels hard, I'm having an upstream thought. And it's a simple thing. If I'm feeling bad, if I am not happy, joyous, and free, I'm going in the wrong direction. It's so simple, yet it's out of practice in our society. We're not taught oftentimes to think about, how are you feeling? How is this registering? We're just existing. We're going through the motions. There's a difference between living in joy and existing.
Yes, that's the truth. And also so what we've been talking about so far is kind of the mentality, the mentalness, the consciousness, that part. And to bring in the physicality, to bring in the anatomy and the physiology of this human experience, right? Where we are spiritual beings in a physical time-space reality. And so that has an effect on us, of course. And one of the things that I loved reading about, because it relates to everything we're going to get into here in a couple of minutes. But it's how the brain gets involved with this, because brain and mind are two different things, at least in our work. We understand that brain and mind, the brain is the physical apparatus, and it can die. The brain can die when the spirit leaves the body, when the soul leaves the body. If the brain were spirit, it would keep thinking, it would keep going, but it does not. The brain is a physical mechanism. It is a tool. It is something that we use as a processor of information. And so the great thing is to know that the brain is not the mind with a capital M. And therefore, it needs some training too. So when you start thinking a new thought about something new, a new way you want to be, a new occupation, a new relationship, anything, you're going through the filter of your brain, and your brain wants the status quo. Your brain wants to know that everything is going to stay the same. And so that's where this kind of discord, this fight kind of comes in between mind and brain. And there's actually a way to train the brain. And that is when you are being aware, when you're noticing what you are noticing, when you are making something new welcome. And this really helped me anyway, to know that there is actually a physical part of our brains in the brainstem that is a filter between the conscious and the subconscious. So much of who we are is subconscious. We aren't really necessarily always aware of the patterns that are going on under the surface. And this part of the brain is called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And you can look this up online. You can go to neurolinguistic programming and find it. There are many places you can find information about it. But the bottom line is this. This is how the RAS works. Say you are going to buy a new car. You need a new car. You don't need it. You want a new car. Whatever. It's a new car. And so what you do is you start looking at cars and you decide, I really like this make of a car. I really like this model. I like this color. The color is so important. I like this color of a car. I like the way the interior looks. You have these thoughts about what you want. And that is in your conscious mind. You are consciously thinking about that with your brain. And the RAS, its job is to take that information from your conscious mind and filter it into the subconscious mind. The easiest time to do that is when you're sleeping, because you are really open then. You're not thinking, you are allowing the subconscious. And so now, all of a sudden, you've decided about the car you want, and everywhere you look is that car. You see that car everywhere. And the car was always there. There were always a lot of those cars. But
now we're looking for it.
Yes, and you're looking for it at a subconscious level. It's not even that you're thinking it. It's like you're just minding your own business, driving along, and all of a sudden you go, oh my God, there's another one of those cars. So the idea is to train the RAS to look for things that you do want. So when you have a nerve pattern running through the brain that says the same thing all the time, I'm not enough, I don't have, I have lack, I'm this, I'm whatever it is, that is what
it's creating it.
RAS is.
Yeah, creating it.
That's exactly right.
So tell me, how does that relate to, bring us to the oils. I want to hear, how is it that these, these remedies.
Okay.
First of all, before you get into that, what is a Bach oil?
Okay,
I don't even know what that is. Start with that.
Dr. Edward Bach was an MD physician in England in the 1800s and died in the early 1900s.
Okay.
And he left a thriving practice because he became so fascinated in the idea of plants as healers. Now, we know homeopathic medicine was around for a long time. The Bach remedies are different than a homeopathic remedy, but basically he studied certain flowers, particularly flowers, to find what they affected emotionally. Flowers actually work on a soul level, which you can't say to everybody because it sounds really woo-woo, but they are actually working at that depth of the soul, of the subconscious, of the God within you. And so they are very powerful healers. And he found, before he made his transition, he found 38 flowers total. And that's what I have right here. I have my 38, Bach flower remedies. And a bottle of Bach flower remedy looks like this. Oops. And there are many I'm going the wrong way. Many kinds of, many companies that make what they say are Bach flowers, but you really want the original flower remedies if you're going to use them. I'm holding in my hand something called white chestnut. Now, white chestnut is specifically for, and you can get many books on all of these, but let's just look at one so you get the sense of what it is that it's working on, shall we say. So white chestnut in this book. I really love Mathilde Scheffer. Sorry, VW, white chestnut, it's coming. There it is. White chestnut relates to the soul qualities of tranquility and discernment. The person in the negative white chestnut state is the victim of misunderstood, unsuitable mental concepts. In other words, when you have that thing going around and around in your head, that thought, some people, they can't sleep at night because they've got something running through their head. Repetitive thoughts, they can be big, they can be little, but they're repetitive. White chestnut, the flowers don't work by attacking an illness or the wrong thinking. What it does is exactly what we teach in Science of Mind. It just fills the body with a higher vibration, therefore sort of disintegrating the negative, the repetitive thought. That is the level at which they are working. So if you wanted white chestnut, it would be because some of your symptoms might be unwanted thoughts constantly coming to mind, cannot be turned off.
So anxiety.
Worry or event that won't let go, gnawing at your mind. Again and again, thinks of what might be said or should have been said, right? A feeling that a phonograph record keeps jumping its groove, endlessly treads water mentally. So in other words, there are many, many books. Mathilde Scheffer is my favorite author, and I have several of hers, including the Encyclopedia for the Flowers.
The gift of that is it gives an hold on one second. The gift of that, I know you're excited. I'm excited with you. But the gift of that is sometimes we don't have to figure out where it started. I love the thought of, that's one of the gifts of our treatment or spiritual, affirmative prayer, is that we don't have to go back to where it all started. We can just be peaceful and joyous now. So this is a tool, just like the different spiritual practices are tools. It's something that could enhance life in a different way. And I know for some people, this may seem, woo-woo or out there, but at the same time, we also know there are people that can smell chicken soup and think of their grandmother. There are people that smell a certain perfume and think of a family member. Mm-hmm. So we know that there's certain smells that remind us of comforting things. This is no different from that, only it's on a physical level, but on a subconscious what the body needs. Mm-hmm. So we don't necessarily, we don't consciously think all the time of what we need, but there may be times where we're craving something because our body needs salt. We'll say, oh, I could really go for, and it's because our body really does need that thing. Okay. So there's times our body gives us those little nudges to say, and anxiety is one of those things. There's something going on that we need to kind of soothe, just like if we had a sunburn, we'd put like aloe vera on it, or we put something on it to soothe that. It's the same thing with the body, only we can do that in different ways. And one of those ways can be these oils.
Yes, and they do work on the energetic level. And I'm glad you said something. It tweaked my memory about this. First of all, smells. Smells, the reason it takes you to a memory is because that faculty is also located in the brain stem. It is part of the oldest part of our brain, the limbic system. And you're absolutely right. The sense of smell is the oldest of the 5 senses that we have for our physical bodies. And it is a very, very powerful one. So, and the other thing you said about, when you're thinking about something over and over and looking for the cause, the why, well, of course, the issue with that is that by trying to figure out the why, you are keeping that vibration active. You're
Yes.
keeping it active. You keep reactivating it every time you're going, yeah, but why do I think that way? Yeah, I know I could think different, but why do I think that way? Oh, stop. Just stop it. Stop that.
Get out of the mud. Just get out of the mud. We don't need to stay there, okay? And
That's
yes, no mud, no lotus, but you know what? We can just enjoy the lotus. We don't have to dive into the mud, right? So it's learning that we get the opportunity to do things differently.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I love to bring out to people, is to really show, that it doesn't have to just be one way. There's things that when we talk about the mind-body connection, the gift in that is there's such healing when we are in tune with that. I wasn't raised to know anything about that. I grew up inner city Boston. Meditation, when I started, was painful. It was 3 minutes with an egg timer, and it was excruciating. So for me, all of this was all new. And as I've come to learn different aspects of energy healing and different aspects of even everything from precious stones. There are stones that create vibrations. There are scents that do the same thing. So I don't need to change my whole life. I need to change myself in the moment, because all of our power is now. And, sometimes we get caught up. I know I can get caught up in that concept of, that might take care of this moment, but what about tomorrow? And the truth is, we never have to worry about tomorrow. As long as I'm in the right direction today, tomorrow is better. Yes. That's the way it works, because we're going in the right direction. You're not going to go the wrong way when you're in the right direction. But when I'm overwhelmed or I'm feeling anxiety and I'm constantly going circles, and, a friend of mine calls it rotisserie head, that you keep going around and round and round, or monkey mind, or there's all kinds of things that people, but the bottom line is, we don't have to be stuck ever. We always get, I had something happen this week, and one of my go-to, character defects, as I would call it, or struggles with that, is self-righteous indignation. Just because I'm right doesn't mean I'm not crazy. Now, if something's robbing me of my peace and I'm allowing it to continue to rob me, then I'm crazy. It's like, what are you doing? It has nothing to do with being right or wrong. It's simply about, what do I choose to have in my experience now? So I would love for you can you share some of your favorites, some of the ones that you use, or any combinations?
Yes, I do use white chestnut because I am one of those people. Also, something like fear. Fear is a big topic, right? And certainly it's been active, especially this last year. Yeah. Fear of all kinds of stuff. But it's getting to know, what kind of fear is it? So mimulus is a flower that is for a known fear. You know what it is you are afraid of. Then aspen is for an unknown fear, something that is working under the surface, something that you just have this funny, creepy feeling about, you're fearful about, but you can't put your finger on exactly what it is. So I've used them for all kinds of things. Mustard is for that gloom and doom that descends upon you, that is just, it crashes down upon you, and that's how it feels. You feel like you are underneath fear. You can't even pull yourself up by your overwhelmed. That's right. Scleranthus, for when you are you're not sure. You have a couple choices here, and you're just not sure which way to go. Why, I could go this way or that way, this way or that way.
I've never even heard of most of these.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that fun? Isn't it fun? Clematis. Chestnut bud, cherry plum, beech, agrimony for the person who has a very hard time being authentic with other people. They feel like they need to have a certain persona. And I know that we all do this to some degree, but I'm talking about the person who is actually in pain because they cannot allow themselves to come forth as an authentic person. They can't say no. They can't speak their mind. They don't ever want to rock the boat. And it isn't to say that you should become a bully and aggressive. It's to say, how about balance? How about health? How about homeostasis?
Healthy boundaries.
Exactly. So the flowers are absolutely fascinating, and it's a life's work, really. You could go forever.
And I know you've been doing this for 25, 30 years between
Yes, I've been doing it a long time, mostly for myself, but I have made dozens and dozens of remedies for people over the years and worked with them. So it's one of my loves. I love them. And notice that both the Bach flowers and essential oils are plant-based. Plant-based. And why do we eat plants? Why are all pharmaceuticals either plant-based or they are a synthetic based on the chemical of a plant? Because that works so well with our physical bodies. Our bodies are very in tune with that. So these just work on such a very deep level, and it's subtle. It isn't that all of a sudden one day you go, oh, I'm changed. No, it's suddenly you go, oh, I haven't thought about that in a long time. Oh, I don't have to think about that anymore. It's a subtle change. And
I just wanted to put out there,
yes.
if anybody has any comments, we are live. So if anybody does have any comments or questions, I want to just put that out there that we are here and absolutely would love to hear from you. So if anyone has any questions for Mary or anything they want to add to the discussion, please just let us know, or just to let us know that you are here and for this empowering conversation. So I find it all fascinating. Now, how do the essential oils, how are they different? Are they just not flowers, or how are they different?
No, essential oils can be from stems, leaves, flowers, any part of the plant they can be. Frankincense, for instance, is an essential oil, and of course we all have heard the biblical references to frankincense and the incredible healing properties of frankincense. It was also used in ancient times as a source of heat, because frankincense is actually a resin from the frankincense tree that is only grown like in Syria or Egypt or in that part of the world. And that it's like sap, like maple syrup, right? It is taken from the tree, and it is very sticky and resiny, and so it's slow burning, and therefore it was actually chunks of hardened resin were carried with nomads from place to place and used in fire to allow heat into their abode. So frankincense has all kinds of medicinal properties, but the essential oils, to get into those a little bit, essential oils think of the immune system of the plant. That's really what they are. And what does our immune system do for us? Our immune system protects us from pathogens. It sends signals. Really what it is it's sending information to the parts of the body that can fight that. So it can create more white blood cells. So it can bring blood to an area that's ischemic, that doesn't have enough blood flow in it. The essential oils are the immune system of a plant. They're very powerful, and they're used in many different ways. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of essential oils, because there are all kinds of plants all over the world.
I always love when we have any of our ceremonies outside, or even a cookout, you'll bring your homemade bug spray that smells wonderful. That smells wonderful, and everybody's misting up, and it's safe and it's healthy. So there's ways to do things like that are good for us, good for our planet, and good, in general, there's different ways of doing things.
Yes, and that's a very good point, Gina. And to know that all essential oils are not created equal. Because for the perfume industry, the essential oils, many are extracted from the plant using petrochemicals. And you do not want the skin it's the largest organ of the body. Your skin is actually an organ of the body and is a living, breathing thing. And anything that you put on your skin is absorbed into your body and into your bloodstream. So you need to be thinking, what am I using on my body? Not just taking ingested. If you're using perfume, just know that I can't tell you what's in that, but I can tell you this. It's probably not a high-grade essential oil because it doesn't need to be for the perfume industry. And I'm not saying anything against perfume, but what I am saying is I use a very high-grade essential oil. There are several companies that produce very good high-grade essential oils, and I can use them internally. Oregano, there's an essential oil. The essential oil of oregano is actually one of the strongest antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic oils that you can find anywhere. So oregano is very good for you, but when you're using the essential oil oregano, wow, you put some in a capsule. You can buy vegetable capsules empty, put a drop or two in and ingest it for it to go throughout your body. But one of the very best ways to apply essential oils is to use it topically, to just use it topically. Your skin, the largest organ in your body, will absorb that oil. And think of the intelligence of plants. We're just really scratching the surface of that. But when we're talking about the Bach remedies or essential oils, they are living beings, so to speak, and they know where to go. They know what area they're needed when you dispense them. So you can use some oils neat, which means just plain the way they are. I would never use oregano oil neat because it's called a hot oil. And you'll feel red, you'll feel burning, you'll feel and just to say this right here and now, if you ever put on any kind of an essential oil on your body and you have a reaction to it of any kind, all you do is take any oil, olive oil, sunflower seed oil, grapeseed oil, any oil, I don't care, whatever you have in the kitchen. And you put a few drops on that spot where you have the reaction and it will dissipate. You don't use water. You know how when you eat Mexican food,
water and oil don't mix.
See, and well, true. And that's right. It doesn't draw it out. It doesn't draw it out. And when you eat Mexican food, they say, if you've got a really hot pepper in your mouth and you want to get rid of that heat, you drink a milk. You don't drink water. Water exacerbates it. Same with the oils.
I only know that actually. I know that from an Indian food. I'd gone for Indian food one time, and it just I'm a wimp when it comes to anything hot. So yes,
me too.
They had the yogurt drinks. They had, so I had to.
Yeah, see, and that'll help. That'll soothe it right away. So essential oils can be used any number of ways, though. Actually, I have, well, you can't see it, but I have a diffuser going right in my room right now. You can buy diffusers for $30 on Amazon. They're electric. You put water in them and a few drops of essential oils, and you turn it on. It's great to sleep with a diffuser. Be
careful with if you have pets. From what I've heard, with the essential oils, certain ones aren't in the diffuser. I thought aren't good for dogs. Or
I read things on the internet all the time, Gina, and I've been experimenting with them for decades, and my animals never have had any
And
bad
you've
action.
had dogs and cats and
Dogs and cats, and had every kind of oil going anytime. I've never even had
the quality.
Pardon me?
Could it
They're
be the
high
quality of it?
Yes.
Not yours, but could it maybe the stuff that you'll get in a store that's in a box that's prepackaged, maybe the quality of them, maybe that's what's getting to them?
Maybe, and maybe it's however it was extracted. So if they use petrochemicals to extract it, that could be annoying to a pet. There are books and books on using essential oils on pets. There's that. Oh, by the way, I want to say on the Bach flowers, to jump back to that for just a minute.
Yep.
For pets, if you have a dog that's nervous, you have a dog who, whenever the fireworks are happening, it's shaking, it's terrified. You have a cat that's very skittish and afraid of everything. You just get some rescue remedy, it's called, that's got 5 Bach flowers in it. It is on almost every shelf. You can find it in pharmacies. You can find it at Whole Foods. You can find it anywhere. And the one they make for pets does not even have a tiny bit of alcohol to preserve the water that's in there. So all you do is put a drop in their water and they will drink it. I have found pets love Bach flowers. They know that it is for them. They get that it's pure and good. And I've found the same thing with the essential oils. They know. So anyway, there's so much I could say, but blah, blah, blah. Let me get back to essential oils. So the immune system of the plant, the essential oils, and the thing is, you can diffuse it. You can get yourself a diffuser and use that. A great time to diffuse is when you're sleeping. And almost all of these diffusers have a timer. So you can set it for 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, and they automatically shut off. So you don't have to worry about that. But you put in there what your concern is. So if you were worried about getting a virus, if you were concerned about illness of some kind, you could use essential oils that are known for especially respiratory issues. So your eucalyptus, your melaleuca, there's many of them. I'm not thinking of them offhand, but I will. In fact, I have a blend here that I use, and I often use this blend in my diffuser. And what is in there, I'm going to tell you some of the diffusing oils. Eucalyptus radiata, eucalyptus globulus. You've got peppermint. You've got cypress. You've got mei-chang fruit oil. You've got myrtle. You've got cinnamon, cardamom, camphor, and allspice, clove, rosemary. These are all very highly antiviral essential oils. So you can use them individually, or you can buy a blend. This happens to be vapor, and it's from melaleuca, which melaleuca is actually the official name for a tea tree oil. But tea tree's a little bit different from melaleuca, but they are very much interchangeable. Melaleuca is actually more powerful.
Now, how many essential oils are there?
Thousands, hundreds, and think of how many plants there are on the planet.
Wow.
That and the bark, the stem, the flower, the leaf.
Do they all do different things?
Yes, they can. Well, or they test them for their efficacy. What is the most powerful way to use this particular plant for this particular use? So, and they're mostly steam distilled is the best way to find them, is steam distilled. That's the best process rather than petrochemicals. Wild orange. I'm looking at my wild orange right now. Melaleuca is a wonderful company. doTERRA is a good company. Let me get it. I can't seem to get myself in here. Well, it doesn't matter. doTERRA is
It's
good.
opposite. That's the thing. It's
I know. I'm like, I'm
It's-
dyslexic with this. It's like, where do I want to go? Wild orange actually works on the emotional system, and emotions are chemical feedback. In other words, there's chemistry in your body that emotions are produced from. And so as we work with the chemicals of our body, with Bach flowers, with body work, massage therapy, with essential oils, with many things, we are actually, that is what can change how we feel emotionally. So these things are very powerful in kind of pushing us off the spot we're stuck on. So you can diffuse.
As far as one of the things with body work too, is sometimes there's things that are pent up in our body that we actually get that physical touch can actually push that out of the way. And we had talked about that actually. I had Lisa Medley on, which I know you know, Lisa, and we had talked about there's so many aspects to the mind-body connection. And the more that we are in that place of understanding ourselves, because we are, you know, these bodies that we're given are miraculous. Self-healing, they grow, I mean, there's so much to it that it offers us, that if we can invest in that and knowing what's best for this physical body. Unfortunately, we live in a society that it's all external. Everything is external, and we think, you know, unfortunately, it tends to be more about what we see or how someone looks or getting more done. You know, I always say it as bigger, better, faster, more. You know, it's the external stuff, but it's how we experience life, which is what matters. And there's, you know, it's not about a price tag. It's not about quantifying something's worth. Everything in life is experienced differently when we take the time to become aware. You know, we started by talking about consciousness, and as we, you know, wind down, because time flies, I mean, as we wind down, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. We are in this place of, what do we choose to be aware of? You know, and I mean, I'm sure you've given workshops, I'm sure you've taken courses that are, you know, years long, and people study this for a lifetime. And at the same time, you know, we try to offer people just these little blips of things that we might find, you know, interesting. Something that we might find that might bring us to that place of awareness or wake us up just a little bit. And when you think about it, if you can get something like an essential oil or a Bach remedy, and it can stop the crazy rotisserie mind, and you can get a better night's sleep, just that extends the quality of your life so much more, because then we're fully present. And we live in a society that often ends up doing that. Everything is so big and so busy and so rushed that we're missing the forest for the trees. For me, because we know disease is dis-ease, we know that. And the more that, you know, for me, it was just my life was always that chaos, constant. And my body gave out. And that's what really happened when I couldn't do any more. And I had to go to a doctor and say, something's wrong. I know me, I know my body, something's wrong. And there were over a dozen tumors in my kidneys. That's when I finally said, okay, I can't do it. I couldn't. And you know, the world spun without me. Everything still went on without me trying to hold it up. So the awareness that I got from that, I mean, it was a horrible experience to go through, you know, and it certainly is not the way that I would choose to have people become aware. That's why this show is here. Joy is in the journey, because it's about being in that place of understanding that today is what's important. It's not when I get there and that destination happiness. It's how I get there that matters. Because, I may not even choose to go there if I'm aware enough.
That's right.
What's the most important thing in my life? And we don't often ask ourselves that. You can ask people that, and they may say their children, and they may say, their loved ones. They may say all kinds of different things. But the truth is, am I living that way? Am I putting a priority on myself? Because we know self-care is absolutely the priority. It's the oxygen mask. Yes. That if we don't take care of us, we have nothing to give. Yet we're not raised in our society for that. And I know, I was raised Italian, in an Italian family that, you took care of everybody else. That was what I was taught. So we now get the opportunity with shows like this to tell people there's simple things that we can do to enjoy life more.
Yes, that's right. And really, it doesn't have to be about making the big change. It can be making simply a change in thought, simply a change in, I caught myself thinking this, but I'd rather think that.
Yes.
And getting that habit, that neural pathway in your brain deeper and make it more of a rut like the other thought was. And it will take over and you will realize where you want to be. In fact, I love this quote from Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza is amazing. His book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, or Becoming Supernatural, just fabulous science-based information. But he says, thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain, and feelings are the vocabulary of the body. So you cannot separate. When we say you can't separate the mind and the body, we really mean it. You cannot separate these things. They are all in communication with each other.
Can you say that again? That was a great. That's wonderful.
Thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain, and feelings are the vocabulary of the body. So the cycle of how I think and feel becomes my state of being, which means my entire state of being is in the past. Well, that's another whole conversation. We aren't going there today, but it is very interesting when you start thinking about it. How many of the thoughts you have every day that were the same thoughts you had other days? The repetitiveness. There aren't a whole lot of new thoughts in your head unless you make the effort to do that. Can I say a quick little thing about essential oils before we?
You can. I just want to put down, I have your email there. If you have questions after the show, if they're watching it at another time, you can reach Mary at Mary Broomall, and her name is actually in the title of where you clicked on for the show, Mary Broomall at gmail.com. So
Mary sweep everything. Broom all. It's very simple. It's very simple. No one makes it simple. Mary sweep everything. Yes.
And also, if there's any questions for me, I would love for people to, by all means, let me know. I would love to know what topics to have that bring you joy that we can have here. It's Gina at believeInYouToday.com. So reach out to me as well. So your final comment, go right ahead, Mary.
Real quick, lavender essential oil is great for insect bites and itches. Anything that scratches, poison ivy, I don't care what it is, lavender can be used neat on those, in other words, by itself. I actually put it on open wounds. I put a high-grade lavender on burns and open cuts and wounds. It heals them so quickly. I wanted to make sure I talked about that. If you could only buy a few oils, melaleuca, lavender, and peppermint, which is very cooling. It actually makes the body feel cooler. So you take a few drops of peppermint. You can put it in an oil if you want, or a cream. Put it on the back of your neck in the summer, and you will feel the coolness. It's incredible. You can use it all over your body that way in a cream. Okay, I think I'm nowhere near complete, but I'm going to say.
I know, because there's so much here, and I appreciate you being here with us and taking your time to do this and putting this out there. I'd love to have you back sometime and we can chat more about it. I'd love to talk more about the practical applications of it, because even like lavender you were talking about, that's also very soothing and calming.
Yes, it is.
That helps with anxiety. So there's so many different practical uses of something that's healthy, you know, and it's easy to find, and people can look them up online, and they can, you know, just look into whether it's books or whether it's just online. There's a lot of information, and just making sure that they're getting it from a good source, that it is actually pure, like you said. And what were the names you said again?
Well, there's doTERRA, there's Melaleuca, a company called Melaleuca, 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 and there are Wisdom of the Earth is an excellent one. I think Rocky Mountain is another good brand name. So there are several oils that are what you might read therapeutic grade, or at least if they have an outside, a third-party tester, someone who is a company who is testing their products that is not their company. It is an independent source for all the sisterterpenes and the monoterpenes and the different constituents chemically, then it's probably a good company if they are using an outside source.
Okay, because I'm not sure how but the names that you gave are good ones to look up and to go by as well.
Yes.
So just to be mindful of where you're getting them, and you know what, you know, because it's important, just like anything else. It's the quality that you get. You don't want to be trying to do something good for yourself, pick it up, you know, at the dollar store, and it has nothing but chemicals in it anyway. So it's being mindful of, you know, where and what you're getting as well.
Yeah.
So I am really appreciative, and I have time I want to ask you one more question unrelated to the oils. Practitioner studies. For those of you that don't know, practitioners, the path of practitioners, you're talking about tremendous commitment. You're talking well over 300 hours of class time alone, let alone study and all that goes with it, and the service and everything else. But just class time, it's that. But I am wondering, as you're coming to this place of, and I'm excited and knowing that, you know, you and your class it's just going to be ease and grace throughout. How are you feeling about it all?
I'm excited about it, Gina. I'm excited about it. I'm not sure exactly where I'll go from there. I know I'll be in service of some kind, and I'll certainly be at Concordia serving. I have some. It's been such a great experience. You know, I feel like I've done so much inner work over the decades, a lot of inner work. I mean, I'm old. I've been here a long time, you know. I've been doing a lot of work for a long, long time.
Oh, you're more spry than most people I know, Mary.
But but year one of the practitioner training was a deep dive inward. It's called Inward Journey. And wow, that just, the onion peeled and peeled and peeled. And I would just recommend taking, any of the Science of Mind courses. They are so rewarding, personally rewarding for any of them. So this 2 years of practitioner training is coming to an end. I only have 8 weeks left, and then the big exam. So I am complete, and I'm excited.
And it's really been, and what a wonderful class you have. And Reverend Allen has been so wonderful with the, you know, our practitioner corps. You know, for those of you that are listening that are new to Centers for Spiritual Living, there's so many classes. They're amazing. For those of you that are already on your path, keep going, because the gift of new thought is just that, the new thought. So the more as we're living and existing, our minds want that new thought, and we keep, the more we give it, the more we create the life that we choose. So it is so important to be in that place and nourish ourselves from the inside out and from the outside in, as with the oils and what we give ourselves as far as to read and our practices. It all works together, and it is a gift to be in this place of being able to suggest things to people that have never seen them before, so they can learn a little bit more about it. So thank you for being here with us, Mary. I greatly appreciate it. We'll have to have you come back again soon and share a little bit more about it. I'd just like to say before we end, just so grateful to all of you for being here with us today and spending this time with us. And if you've gotten something from this show, if you've learned anything new and you feel that you have something to offer back, know that we are here. We have so much here that we offer, and it's all free. And it's also, especially new people, it gives people an opportunity to be nourished spiritually and opened in so many ways. So if you can have anything to give back, if you'd like to call it tithes or a donation, ntmedia.org. You can go to, or there's always a link at the bottom of where you clicked on, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. You can get some more information right there. But thank you for allowing us to be in your living room or wherever you may be, and helping us to be somewhere else as well, bringing this to new people along the way. So if you can, let us tell people about us. Let them know that we're here. I want to just share Saturday mornings. On Saturday mornings, we have the Science of Mind Spirit lecture series. And there's always wonderful ministers and wonderful messages. By all means, come on by and enjoy this wonderful offering every Saturday. This lecture series is. And mind the 10% of your conscious mind. Our very own Jersey girl, she's absolutely incredible. We had her at Concordia, and when I tell you, Reverend Michelle, she's done so many wonderful topics, but this particular one is 2 Saturdays. And this workshop, which is 11 to 1 on Mountain Time, 1 to 3, this Saturday and next Saturday. If you're available for it, please take a look at it. Go on ntmedia.org and get some more information on it, because she is incredible. And every penny of this is going to upgrades for the network. So we would love for you to, participate, learn something new about yourself and in general. And again, my other show is the Peace Circle. So if you can join us on Monday nights, it's another way to find your way to peace. Just like this is finding your way to joy, Peace Circle on Monday nights, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, is a way to find your way to peace and being that change that you wish to see in the world. There's schedules, there's everything right online. So take a look at the website, and thank you so much for being here. It is a gift to be here with you. I wish you all of the blessings and love, and namaste.